Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. Thrilled to see each and every one of you, and so grateful for all of your great work on today's announcement. I think Sierra Adams is going to get us from our great Department of Education. Sierra has been critical to getting this wonderful project going and all the great work that we do with early childhood providers throughout the community. So, Sierra, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Sierra Adams, and I work for the City of Columbus Department of Education. I just want to thank everyone here today for being with us as we virtually break ground on the Hilltop Early Childhood Learning Center. The mayor's goal for Columbus, America's Opportunity City, is for every 4-year-old to have access to a high-quality pre-K education. The city has worked to expand K access so that far fewer Hilltop children were enrolled in quality early learning programs than anywhere else in the city. Research indicates that children who attend preschool are more likely to be ready for kindergarten than those that do not have any prior preschool experience. Knowing this, in 2017, Mayor Ginther created the Hilltop Early Childhood Partnership and charged a group with doubling the number of Hilltop children enrolled in quality early learning programs. One of the recommendations in the 2018 Hilltop Early Childhood Partnership report was to build a new early learning center in the Hilltop to increase capacity and provide quality programming. In the last 2 years, the city has engaged stakeholders, early childhood partners, and community members on the design of the center. We would not be here today breaking ground without the mayor's commitment to quality early childhood education for all Columbus families. Thank you, Mayor. And at this time, I would like to introduce to you Mayor Ginther.
Thank you, Sierra, and thank you all for joining us here this afternoon, to Doug Bohr and Danny Sugarman, to Director Matt Smido and Sierra Adams, to Director Lombardi, and our great champion for this incredible work in expanding early learning opportunities on City Council, President Pro Tem Liz Brown, Elford Construction, Mary Kay Irwin from Nationwide Children's Hospital. Thank you all for joining us. Studies have shown that children who participate in high quality early childhood education are better prepared to enter kindergarten and more likely to succeed in school and in life. Early childhood education has been a priority of my administration since I took office almost 6 years ago. The city invested in the Linden Early Childhood Education Center that opened in 2016, and we've invested heavily in spots for children at high-quality pre-K centers throughout the community. And today, we are breaking ground on the Hilltop Early Childhood Education Center. This will be a state-of-the-art facility with 12 classrooms for pre-K students, plus playgrounds. But education is more than simply providing learning for students. The Hilltop Early Childhood Learning Center will also include a full medical suite run by Nationwide Children's Hospital, a kitchen, and a range of providers for wraparound services to assure a stable environment for the whole family. This center represents a $20 million investment from the City of Columbus in one of our opportunity neighborhoods, ensuring that access to high-quality pre-K is equitable and not dependent on your zip code. We have to look to external partners because public-private partnerships are critical to making sure we realize our vision around an equity agenda. And so to find an incredible family, the Bohr family, a family champion with deep, deep roots on the West Side and an incredible commitment to early childhood education was absolutely essential for our success. We know the funding of this facility. We know that all the best projects are ones that we work on collaboratively. So I want to thank Doug Bohr and the Bohr family for their ongoing commitment to this incredible work. As the old African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. In a year of unprecedented disruption, I am so proud of the team that worked diligently to make today possible. We are a little delayed in the groundbreaking because of the pandemic, but we never stopped. And the center points to a bright and equitable future for our children. And all the collaborative resources and services that are going to be offered to children and families, especially as we battle back from this incredible pandemic, the human service crisis and economic crisis it's brought, couldn't be more important than right now. And so we are thrilled to have incredible partners in this work. And I'd like to invite Mary Kay Irwin from Nationwide Children's Hospital to say a few words about their role in this partnership and how we're all going to do our very best to serve the children and families of this community. Mary Kay?
Thank you, Mayor. The criticality of intervening early in a young person's life does not only apply to education, but is also true in healthcare. Having access to routine, high-quality preventive care can positively impact an individual's life for years and years to come. To that end, Nationwide Children's Hospital is committed to ensuring high-quality health outcomes for all of the children living in the Hilltop region. In fact, we have 2 existing primary care clinics in the area and provide comprehensive primary care in both. This early learning center community concept is in alignment with a whole child approach. And as evidence demonstrates, these types of comprehensive collaborations are designed to address inequities in a child's life to ensure children have every opportunity to succeed. At Nationwide Children's, we understand and value this approach, and we look forward to working with the community on this very important project. Doug, I think is next.
Thank you very much, Mary Kay, and thank you, Mayor Ginther. It's my honor to be partnering with you in the city of Columbus on such an important project. After hearing about Mayor Ginther's involvement as a mentor for students at West High School, it made me reflect on my history with Hilltop. My dad, Don Bohr, grew up on the west side of Columbus. He was born at home at 64 North Central Avenue, was the 1947 class president of West High, and is in the West High School Hall of Fame. After graduating from Ohio State and serving in the Air Force, he came back to Columbus and started building houses. The first houses he built were on the west side in that same neighborhood. Our west side roots do indeed run deep. I want everyone to succeed, to have the same opportunities my dad had. And I firmly believe that those values and mindsets start at a very early age. We all know the importance of early learning programs. It's especially true of children who live in poverty, and there are long-term implications. Quality early learning programs are crucial in closing the gap before kindergarten. When I heard there were so few children in the Hilltop in quality early learning programs, I was concerned, and I knew I needed to do something. So the city of Columbus has developed a beautiful state-of-the-art center, which will provide many quality services that will be beneficial for so many children. I'm so proud to be part of this and can't wait to see the center and for the long-lasting impacts it will have on the children of the future of the children. And I want to see that all these children have the same chance that my dad had. So thank you, Mayor Ginther. Thank you, President Pro Tem Brown, and to all the members of City Council. And Mayor, thank you to your staff. They have done a fabulous job putting this together. I'm so happy we got it done, and we're going to continue to now be able to go out when the pandemic is over and raise additional money to help fund this through as it continues to operate. And we will be there, and we'll get it done. Thank you. Now, am I supposed to introduce somebody?
No, you're fine. I want to thank you, Doug, for stepping up. You didn't hesitate when I talked about this idea and vision, and I'm grateful to you and Danny, your entire family, for stepping up to helping us get this done and being so involved with our team along the way, and grateful for your ongoing support and look forward to working with you to bring this vision and dream to make sure it's realized for children and families on the west side. So with that, I want to introduce our great partner. We couldn't ask for a better advocate for early childhood education and for families on city council. I'd put her up against anybody in the country, and thrilled to introduce President Pro Tem Liz Brown.
Thank you so much, Mayor Ginther. Thank you, Doug and Mary Kay, for your inspiring words. And what I really think, I want to get into some comments about the project and the importance, but I really want to highlight at the top the process, Mayor, that you put together with your team to get us to this point. You talked about the African proverb of going together, and that doesn't just apply to the partners assembled on this call, but really to the whole process around Westside Early Learning. The group that you put together, that Rhonda Johnson, when she was at the department, but Matt Smido and Sierra all led, so that this was really neighborhood driven. So I think that proverb you started with reverberates on many levels. And I wanted to make sure I highlighted that and thanked you for it. Earlier this year, when families were faced with the loss of childcare due to COVID-19 safety restrictions, the importance of access to reliable childcare became clearer than ever. It was really put into high relief when everyone had their little people running around, me included, their meetings. Without childcare, parents must make difficult choices that impact their ability to work and provide for their families, which in turn doesn't just impact those families, but our whole economy. It also impacts children. As everyone has already said on this call, quality early childhood education lays a foundation for successful learning and development, K through 12 and beyond. And while the pandemic put these things into high relief, we can't forget that even without pandemic disruptions, which is when this process for the West Side Center started, families struggled to access quality, affordable childcare. Far too many families in our many of our neighborhoods. And that's why this investment in the Hilltop Early Childhood Learning Center is so important. This investment today, while I've never been a part of a groundbreaking on my computer, this investment today is happening in the middle of a pandemic. It was planned for before the pandemic, and it will outlast the pandemic, because childcare is essential infrastructure that supports the success of families and supports our whole economy and invests in our future. The investment the city is making in this center highlights our commitment to that principle of childcare as essential infrastructure. And we are making that commitment on the Hilltop, an area in need of additional childcare capacity. Having a safe place for kids to learn and grow gives parents the peace of mind they need to work and support their families, and it sets kids up for that success in kindergarten and long term, as I said. And similar to the city's recreation centers and to our schools, childcare centers act as a focal point for connecting with and supporting families. So again, I want to thank our education team, Director Smido and Assistant Director Adams, and I want to thank Mayor Ginther for their focus on leveraging the city's investment in this center to maximize that connection point that the center will serve as for families and the community on the West Side. Health and wellness wraparound services for students and their families outside the classroom have been a planning focus from the start because of that process, right? The We Go Far Together idea, that process that was rooted in the neighbors. This center will be here 24/7, and I appreciate the work that has gone into maximizing the neighborhood supports. Ensuring that every family has access to quality childcare opportunities is one of the most important investments we can make as a city. We are investing in that infrastructure with this center. We will continue to focus on supporting quality, affordable childcare options in every neighborhood throughout our city. And none of the work would be possible without leadership in the administration and without partners outside of City Hall. So thank you again. Now, I think I get to, before turning it back over to the mayor, I get to show a short video of our groundbreaking this afternoon. As you will see, the construction of the facility is off to an amazing start. So whoever's got those video controls, take it away.
This is a groundbreaking! Hilltop Training Center! Invest in us!
Well, it wouldn't be 2020 with a completely different type of approach to a groundbreaking, but as should have been. The reason we're doing all this incredible work together collaboratively is for those little ones. And so it's fitting that they got to break ground and we got to celebrate them and the future that they're going to have there in one of our greatest neighborhoods. And it was a lot better, I think, than watching a bunch of adults with shovels digging around in the dirt. That's what it's all about, and it was great. So thank you, President Pro Tem Brown, Mary Kay Irwin, Doug Bohr, so many others that made this day possible. Now we're ready to answer a few questions from the press. We're going to use the raised hand function. You should see a hand button next to your name. Click on that to raise your hand. We'll unmute you one at a time to answer your questions. Please state your name and your media outlet, and then be sure to click the hand after we've answered the questions and click it again if you have a follow-up or another question. I know we have a number of folks from the press here. I think Tom Bosco has his hand raised. Tom, good afternoon.
Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Okay. Sorry. I'm having a little trouble hearing you. I don't know if it's my end or your end, but I can hear you enough that I will ask a question. And please indulge me for asking something unrelated to today's press conference. It's a question for you, Mayor, and also Council President Pro Tem Brown. I've got a question for you on this as well. Mayor, can you give me your reaction to this shooting on the Northeast Side from Friday? Are you comfortable with Columbus Police investigating the Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Marshals Service with what happened? And Councilwoman Brown, if I might ask you, is there a worry of politicizing this incident from last week before all of the facts are really out there and known?
Well, Tom, I'll take your question first and then let the council member respond as well. I think we have all felt the pain of police-involved shootings across the country this year and in years past. Every loss of life is tragic, and each one deserves a thorough and transparent investigation. I ask for the community's patience as facts are gathered in the shooting of Casey Goodson by a Franklin County deputy. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I will echo your call for patience as facts are gathered. And, I'll also say, the term, politicizing a tragedy, I don't really know what that means. Not to, meaning zero disrespect, Mr. Bosco, at all, but a mother lost her son. He was the oldest of 10 siblings. It's an unqualified tragedy when a life is taken in our city. Simply an unqualified tragedy. And I do think that acknowledging the space of the family and the community to grieve that is pretty important. I don't think that politicizes it, to be honest. I think that it's human and real. So we will need to have patience as the facts are gathered, but I think within that patience, we have to access our humanity to recognize that real people are grieving a real loss of life.
Thank you, council member. Any other questions? And maybe as we wait for another question from the press, I do want to reinforce some of the highlights of this Hilltop Early Childhood partnership. What we laid out when we started this work was to double the number of Hilltop children enrolled in high-quality pre-kindergarten programs. So when we announced the Hilltop Early Childhood Partnership, there were only 152 children enrolled in quality programs, high-rated quality programs. Right before the pandemic hit, that number was 770. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, enrollment has dropped to 349, but it's still well over the double the number that we had set for our goal back in 2017. And we believe that enrollment in early learning and childcare programs will go back to pre-pandemic levels if we're able to, as the council member said, keep these centers open and support them during these very difficult, trying times. And it's going to be so important for families, but especially women, to have access to high quality childcare for both, that whether they're home-based or center-based. And this will, I think, play an incredibly important role for high quality early learning and to support our families once we get out of the pandemic. But I wanted to share some of those stats even before the opening of this center. Great progress has been made because of the leadership of so many of the partners that are part of this call here today. So appreciate that. Tom, do you have a follow-up question or another question?
I do, Mayor. Thanks. And I'm sorry. Again, this one is also unrelated to today.
Sure. Yeah.
But wondered if you had seen video. There was some video, and I believe the state also had some enforcement action on a club on the east side. Aftermath, I believe, is the name of the club, where they had a concert or some kind of event where they really had, it looked like about 500 people packed in without concern for COVID precautions. What's your reaction to that? That seems to run counter to everything that city and state officials are warning folks against and asking people not to do.
Tom, the governor and I spoke about this morning, and it is what I saw and what has been reported to me is reckless. It is dangerous, and we will not stand for it. And so we will be working with the governor and his team to hold these folks accountable for the danger they put folks in, including the workers there, and the risk that they put the community in. Based on this, you would have never believed we were in the midst of a global pandemic with community spread that's off the charts, with literally our neighbors dying around us based on that gathering that I saw Friday night. And the governor and I and our colleagues will not stand for it, and we will hold folks accountable. That is unacceptable. Any other questions from the press today about early childhood or anything else they'd like to ask about? Be happy to answer your questions. If not, if members of the press do have questions about today's event or anything else, they can feel free to follow up with Robin Davis in my office or Lee Cole in the council office, and we'll do our very best to get you detailed responses to any questions or follow-ups you may have. Thank you all for joining us here today. Couldn't be more excited about this announcement and even more excited about the days we open up this center to serve the children and families of the Hilltop. So we'll invite you all back then, and hopefully it'll be in person together as we celebrate a brighter future on the Hilltop. God bless. Have a good day.